I just want to do this video to tell women it is not normal for a man to dog you out simply for choosing him, sleeping with him, helping him out, caring for him, loving him, wanting to be in a relationship with him. That's not normal. To reward kindness with brutality and ignorance and disrespect and screaming and shouting and all of the things, that's a foul man. That's a very foul man. That is a man that is unhinged. That's a man that more than likely you aren't going to get any resolve out of, any solution out of. He's not going to provide any deep reflection or growth for you as a woman. Because let me tell you something that I know about a man who rectifies. And that's the word of the day. Rectify. A man who rectifies is a man that takes full responsibility for the direction of that relationship. And if it fails, he will apologize to you. I've had it happen. I've had it happen. They will apologize. A man that is a man is like a ram in a bush. He provides structure. He provides discipline. He may be flawed. He very well may not be a perfect man. You get what I'm saying? He very well may be a man that has made some of the mistakes that we talk about on social media or has been talked about or is consistently talked about. But one thing you not really going to find in the past or the present of a man that is just flawed is foul behavior. See, foul behavior is when men dog women. Okay? Dog women, excuse me. They dog them. Dogging somebody is just, that's on a whole nother level right there. And I know what that's all about because I grew up during the crack epidemic, and the music during that time was like pimps up 304s down. And the men had that type of mentality. They were like, I'm a smack a B. I'm going to keep a B in her place. I'm going to do this to a B. Like, they were horrible. And some of those men are in my age group now, and they're horrible still today. They have not changed. A lot of these men didn't believe in taking care of their children. They didn't believe in respecting the mothers of their children. They didn't believe in doing none of that because it was F a B. I'm a pimp. That was that type of mentality back then. And a lot of these men have grew up to not deviate from that at all. But I want you to know that you weren't the weird one, you weren't the stupid one, you weren't the goofy one or the silly one because you decided to love them. You may have made a misguided decision, right? And you may have some things that you need to do some checks and balances about. It might be some reflection you need to do. But don't you dare place yourself in the same category as his raggedy behind. Don't you dare place yourself there just because you may be a little bit insecure or, like I said, misguided. You may not be placing the amount of value on yourself that God says you are worth. But see, this life, we all living it for the first time. This is why I said there's a man that is flawed, and that man may be rectifying his issues. That's the type of man that's going to apologize to a woman for hurting her. Y'all have had this happen to me. I have some experience with these men, and I'd have met some men that wanted to dog me out, and they were a far cry different from men who were flawed with me, that didn't make all the best decisions with me, but they weren't trying to dog me. And these men said, Angela, I'm sorry. And you know what? These men were the fathers of my kids. My youngest son's father just had that conversation with me last year. But I have gotten that conversation from all my kids' fathers. A well-due, well-needed apology. Because we got these kids. And my kids' fathers didn't abandon their children. My kids happily went everywhere they needed to go on holidays, kicking it with their daddies. Their daddies providing. And when I needed some, when I fell short, or I was in a position where I was possibly robbing Peter to pay Paul, I could call those men and they would never say nothing stupid like, what about your other baby daddy? See, it's a difference in men that are going to dog you. I don't care if you a Meg. I don't care if you a Krishan. I don't care if you a Clarissa. You get what I'm saying? None of that is an excuse for a man dogging you because he can simply just leave you the heck alone. He ain't got to deal with you to begin with if he gonna dog you. So I don't be wanting to hear that. When I see these men dogging women, there's nothing funny about that to me. I'm not looking at the woman like, oh, she was silly, she was stupid, she was deaf, dumb, and blind. I'm not looking at her like that. I'm looking at the man. If you got so much integrity and dignity and you just such the guy that ain't got no respect for a Meg, then nigga, what you doing in her face? Why you around her? You fake. You fake, you fraudulent, and you foul. And I will never in my life tell a woman it's something wrong with you. You made a misguided decision because society, the patriarch, has taught you to respect men just because they're men. And the word of God is telling you to do the exact opposite. In 4 different contexts, does God tell women to respect your husbands? Now, if you put that message in the hands of a patriarchal, misogynistic fool in the pulpit, and they be up in the church, in the pulpit, using that to keep women in their place. But let me give you the right context in which God was talking about when he said that to wives. The reason why he said, make sure you respect your husband, because he was telling you to get you a man you respect. That is what he was saying. He wasn't saying just to pull respect out your behind and give it to him no matter what, because God also said a man that doesn't work doesn't eat. God also said a man that doesn't provide for his family is worse than a non-believer. And what goes hand in hand with all of these mean, dogmatic men? They don't provide for nothing. They don't protect nothing. They just run their mouth. They ain't nothing but breath and bridges, a mouth and trousers. They're full of slothfulness. Ask them the last time they had a job, okay? Ask them what successful business they're running, okay? And they will have no answers for you. They ain't got nothing going on. These is the men that wake up every day without a schedule. All they do got going on is how to terrorize, disrespect, and dog out women. And they make good on it, okay? They gonna make good on it if they don't do nothing else. So I don't want to hear about, Krishan was drinking when she was, I don't want to hear Clarissa got a big mouth and she's silly. I don't want to hear Meg got a long, I don't care. Why are you dealing with her? Why do you need to be the one to show up and dog her out? Are you kidding me? It's not normal. These men are going to make an excuse to have a reason to dog you out. This is why they're in the face of women that may be lacking in esteem or value, or they may be going through something in their life, because you got to understand, all of the women I just named, guess the one thing they don't have? A village. Because see, when them men got to cross through something, them is cowardly men, essentially. Them is the type of men that get you in the house and brutalize you, talk to you crazy, punch holes in your walls, flipping your table, and doing all the things. Mushing you upside your head and doing all that type of stuff. When you find yourself with a man like that, please know it ain't you. That's all I need you to know is it's not you. I don't care what they get on these videos and they keep talking at women. Don't listen to the people that's doing that. It ain't you. It's these men. Some of these men just want to abuse women, and that's a lot of them, unfortunately. They're very foul men, and they victimize themselves, and they never tell the truth. This is why you'll never see them saying, yeah, I did beat that woman down into the ground. Yeah, I did steal all that woman's money out her bank account. This is why you see them sounding like bumbling fools, right? Because they can't tell you that they're just that effed up, because then you're going to be looking at them like, dang, you really did that? You really emptied that woman's bank account? You really spent all the money off that woman's credit card? Like, you really wrecked that woman's car? You really punched that woman in the face? You really spit on that woman? You see what I'm saying? See, all those questions is going to come into play when you cannot make sense out of what you did because you so foul and the things that you've done don't make no sense. Then now you're going to become a victim, because now you got to find a way to excuse away, because how else are people going to come into your life and be around you? Who's going to be around somebody with a track record, a man of brutalizing and brutalizing and brutalizing and brutalizing? No woman is. You sit and tell a woman that you dogged the last woman out, and then the woman before that, and then the woman before that. This is why it pays ladies to listen to some of these women. Yeah, they might have an ill intention of telling you why that man that she used to deal with is in your face right now dealing with you and he's in the love bombing stage. She might be a little hurt, might not want to, but listen to what she got to say. Don't be so quick to write her off if that's a scenario with you. Because a lot of times these men got a long track record of doing this stuff, of coming into women's lives and just wiping the smile clean off their face. And then there are the men that they want to cosplay being. And that's a regular old, regular, a flawed man who may not have, made some good decisions in relationships in his life, but he's tried to rectify. He's talked to these women. The thing that made me want to do this video is when Charleston White did the DD podcast. I don't even know who that podcast is for. It just came up in my FYP and I watched it. And he told those men the way that you can, get your life back on track, find some peace in your life, find some joy, is to apologize to them women you hurt. And them men was not having it. And I like when men show who they are like that. I like that. I love that. Because that gives you an opportunity to see what you're dealing with. Because I'm going to tell you something. It ain't no excuse for dogging nobody out unless they did something to you. If I done dogged you out, you did something to me. And it ain't going to be no apology given. I said what I said and I meant it. And it's just that simple. Because I'm going to always stand on business when it comes to me. I don't care nothing about what you're talking about. No decision I made. I'm not a person that feels shame, guilt, and embarrassment. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. If you've been foul to me and I responded to the foulness, then it ain't no apology that's ever going to be given. And you got to understand that. It's a difference between flawed men where you can sit down and have a conversation with these men and you can discuss where you went wrong and he could discuss where he went wrong and y'all decide to respect each other moving forward. I've had those type of conversations with men. So I know it's highly, highly possible. Now, granted, these was men I was dealing with romantically after situations went sour and, people feel how they feel. But what I'm trying to tell you is that a man, when he really show up being a man, let me tell you something that man gonna do. He gonna rectify. A man is like a ram in a bush. He's going to fix it. And it's nothing more beautiful than watching a man fix it, making the best of the situation that he damaged and he ruined. And he tries to pick up the pieces and do the best he can to repair. It's nothing like seeing a man like that. And I think that women, because it's such a beautiful thing to see a man say, you know what, I really messed up. I'm sorry. Let me try and fix this. Women tend to believe that every man that claims to be just flawed is not foul. And that's not the truth. You got to look at the weight of what that man did. If all a man did was, let me give y'all a prime example. Had a homegirl when I was 18 years old. She was 18 as well. And she had a boyfriend that went off to the military. And he cheated on her when he got out there. Long story short, ended up calling back some months later, letting her know. And she came over my house to cry about it, talk about it, whatever. And that's what we did. And at the time, I felt like he was just the worst person ever because I was inexperienced with men at that time, had only been with my daughter's father. And he was doing the most at the time to me. And I just remember, because he was a cheater and my daughter's father was a cheater. And I just remember thinking he was the worst guy at the time, her boyfriend. But now that I'm older, that young man did the right thing. And when my daughter's father came to me and said, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I already knew he was doing it. You get what I'm saying? But it was him coming to me. Was that man is not perfect at all. At all. But the fact that he was able and willing to sit down with me and look like an absolute fool and apologize and tell me from A to Z what been going down and what been going on, I've been able to have a way of looking at him that does not make him look like a complete monster to me. So I say all that to say that somebody dogging you out simply for just trying to be with them, your past ain't got nothing to do with that. Your experience ain't got nothing to do with that. Because if all of those things matter, they should have never been in your face to begin with. A bunch of these grown people out here are weird. They are weird. They are out here playing games, like trying to punish people, trying to humble people. And it's just a weird association and affiliation between men and women right now. So you got to understand that there are men that are very like, they're just like us. They doing life for the first time. They making mistakes, but they ain't really, they don't have no intention of just trying to break you all the way down to the lowest decimal and just mush on you and stomp on your head and make you feel less than. It's men out here that really will apologize to you and try to rectify that situation and fix it so that things could be better. It's men out here that ain't gonna run away on their kids and not care if their kid got a bed, got food, got lights, got gas, got water. It's men out here that have lived comfortably, not knowing if their kids had all of those things. They somewhere laid up with a woman they probably ain't even got no kids by. And so I thank the Lord every day that the fathers of my kids, the most important men in my life when I was single, had enough gumption to apologize, because it does make the situation better. So what Charleston White told those men was right. Because nobody goes around just dogging people out and mistreating them and not feeling no type of way about it, then moving on to socially assassinate them and say, oh, it never happened. I never did that to this woman. And then expect the woman to just be okay with them. And listen, that's not normal behavior. That's a mental health issue. That's an emotional defect that's typically associated to like homosexual activity. So like men that are full of slothfulness, the sluggards, the men that ain't nothing but breath and britches. Like I said, a mouth and trousers. A man should be apologizing to you. I ain't saying these men got to be perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But if a man has hurt you bad, he should be saying, I'm sorry. God bless you.